back to the Power of Youth Plus. I'm your host, Merna. On this special episode, we are joined by students of Harvard University who are visiting China on a tour from the U.S. So without further ado, let's go and meet them together. All right, welcome back to the Power of Youth Plus. I'm so excited to be joined here with two wonderful guests. Guys, please say hello to the camera. You're in Beijing. What have you experienced lately?
We've had two really amazing days in Beijing. Our first day was just all culture and architecture. So we went to the Forbidden City and we went north and saw the Great Wall, which was incredible, and have just eaten just incredible food. And then today was all about going to Tsinghua University, which was my first time there, and I've heard so much about it. I've had some friends that have had the chance to go there, which was like an incredible experience, and then getting the chance to meet with a bunch of Tsinghua students as well.
It has been a super nice experience. As Deepak said, we had the pleasure of experiencing very different parts of Beijing. So the ancient history, the culture, the government institutions as well as business institutions, and now meeting students and peers from Tsinghua University is an amazing experience and a great opportunity of exchanging views and interests, and I think we found that we all have a lot in common.
Oh, that's so nice. The time hasn't been so long, but you have made new friends already?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
I think it's so hard not to. I think everyone we've met has just been so warm and welcoming, eager to hear our stories, and has just been so willing to share more about themselves. And it just you can really make friends all around, anywhere in the world, and we've had the chance to make friends here already.
Awesome. Making friends all around the world, I think, is the highlight of 2025, I would say. So is it your first trip to China? Who's first time coming? Is it your first time?
It's my third time in China. I had the pleasure of visiting Nanjing and Shanghai before, but it's my first time in Beijing and I like it very much.
For me, first time in China.
When thinking about China, before you guys came here, what was the first thing that popped in your mind?
I think for me, growing up, it was always martial arts movies, frankly, and then also just Chinese food. Especially I would say Americanized Chinese food, which is I think one of my favorite types of cuisine. So those two things for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. And what about you before coming?
It was certainly food. It also was architecture, the Great Wall, of course, and I guess the vibrant cities of Shanghai and the illuminated skylines.
A place that how comfortable I already feel in this city, how comfortable I feel walking around, how comfortable I feel with the people here. There's just so much more that people have in common than I think I anticipated coming here for the first time, and that's been really amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so based on you told me you had a lot of dialogues and conversations with students from Tsinghua University, you are majoring in public policy. Do you feel like talking with those students, you got to know new perspectives that you didn't expect before?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think that was super interesting to hear what they care about, what is something they are doing research on it at the moment, and I think that many challenges we are facing are shared challenges, and so that has been very interesting to figure out and talk about.
I think everyone loves to laugh, everyone loves to share stories and has ambitions for what they want to do with their life and career, and wants to have friends and make friends, and I found that here.
So tell me a bit more about your itinerary for this trip. You're in Beijing now, you're going to Hangzhou tomorrow. What is waiting for you on this trip?
Exactly, we have the pleasure of visiting three very different cities, Beijing, Hangzhou and Shanghai. We were meeting with businesses. Tomorrow we're going to visit an EV factory. We are very excited about that. And also, of course, cultural experiences. We'll be visiting Shanghai Tower. And so it's a phenomenal combination of sites, of a bit tourist attractions, cultural experiences, and visiting businesses and institutions which represent China.
Awesome. And what are you most excited about for the coming two locations?
I think I'm just excited to honestly compare. I know maybe it's something more specific, but I think when you can really get a sense of a place and the diversity of a place, when you can go and be in different cities, and it's from what everyone has told me, all three cities are very different and kind of highlight different things, and so I'm excited to just experience the richness of China through the contrast of the three different places that we'll be in.
Awesome. So are you guys foodies? Because I think all three different places are going to have different cuisine. They're all Chinese food, but different tastes of it, I guess.
I love food. Absolutely.
Same, and it's been already such a pleasure trying out Chinese food.
It is quite different than the Chinese food in the U.S., right?
Yes. There's a level of range, diversity in the food that I was not anticipating
That's awesome.
before
It's
I came here.
quite a long trip flying from the US to China. How has the trip been? I'm really excited to know. Like, was it excitement or you're like, oh, I'm so tired after I landed?
It was a long journey, but we were super excited. So the excitement carries us through the jet lag, and we have had such a warm welcome here. So we forgot about the journey very quickly.
I had the thrill of, as soon as I landed, actually getting the chance to go eat dinner and speaking of food, and going to a Chinese restaurant. And the first thing that we got to do was we got to actually eat Peking duck.
Oh.
And
Yum.
I know, it was amazing. And we actually I never actually had Peking duck before, and never obviously had it in Beijing. And the chance to do that here, have the owner of the restaurant actually explain the tradition to us and then have that experience. Like, I know it's really hard to be tired when you get the chance to do that as soon as you get off the plane.
That was like the big epic meal after the flight that makes it kind of like, oh, it was worth it.
Yeah, it was all fine.
I feel like when you guys go to Hangzhou and Shanghai, you're going to also experience different cuisines there as well. So I think keep an open belly and an open mind for everything you're going to taste. Since we are talking about this generation, a lot of us use social media to either capture our events or take pictures of where we are. Before coming to China, did you see lots of stories about China through social media?
I personally did not actually see a lot of stories about China, but I will tell you this, like, I feel like I'm missing out, because one of the things that has struck me talking about friends here is how fast someone's quick to add me on WeChat, and now I have a bunch of WeChat friends, and so I'm like really looking forward to, there was just a whole group of experiences that I didn't even know was possible to have, and so I'm excited to have more friends in China and see more things.
Definitely,
absolutely,
definitely.
yes,
the
absolutely.
WeChat thing abroad also, like, you feel like you still use it to connect with your Chinese friends, but it's really very convenient here. As you guys see, you can pay with WeChat, you can hail a car with WeChat.
Totally.
Yes.
That's been incredible to see how the technology is just kind of, we still use cards in America, so it's like, oh, this is a lot easier.
But do you guys feel like within like the short time that you're going to stay here, you might get used to the WeChat payment? Because I've had a lot of friends who came here for a week, and next thing you know, they're like scanning everywhere the moment they got their card binded to it.
Already using it.
I think already using it.
it?
Yeah.
You've been here a
dived right
decade.
into it.
Yeah, we were prepared pretty well. So
that's good. That's good. Oh, that's nice. As young people coming from the US or coming from your university, how do you feel like these kind of events, in terms of making friends and making a cultural exchange from the US and China, how do you feel like these events can really foster friendships between two countries or two young people from different countries?
I think we often think of countries as, the name of the country, but countries are just full of people. And so the more people that you know from a different country, and the more people that know each other from that country, I think it just creates a lot more empathy. And I think that was one of the main reasons I actually came to China. We were talking about our friends earlier that are leading this trip. And I always thought it was so courageous of them to actually go and study in a different country for years, actually. And here we are, we are taking a very comparatively small step of studying here for a week. And I just think that when you do things like that, it creates just more and more empathy, more and more understanding. And the more and more people do that, it scales up. And countries are made of people. So
I would agree with you 100%. It's been a great pleasure seeing the home of our friends. And at the same time, events like this and like this evening enable us to meet people we normally would never met. And it creates a dialogue and a mutual understanding, which I think will be very beneficial to all of us in the future and will go a long way, because we have an understanding and an empathy of what other people feel, how they think, and what is important to them. And I think developing this empathy across cultural boundaries is super important in our connected world, and it really helps to understand what is going on and what people care about, and that has been a wonderful experience.
That's awesome, that's awesome. I think you might really enjoy Beijing, from my perspective, because we're in Beijing right now, the fact that it has like the traditional buildings architecture, but you also see the modern landscape. So I think it gives kind of a balanced way of culture and modern style blended together.
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you felt that with the people as well? The way they're like sharing their culture with you, but also in a more modern twist.
I certainly have, I think, I think the people that I have met, and we have actually volunteers that are kind of affiliated with Harvard or studying there that are also living here in Beijing currently that are helping on the trip. And I think one of the things I've noticed is just how closely people think about their history, but are still able to just like enjoy and like have a great time, go out, and it's so that superimposition that you're talking about with the buildings, I think exists in the people too. Like people have a really great sense of their past, like the past and their ancestors, but also like what the future looks like as well. And I think that's really amazing. And there's a depth there that I don't think I actually appreciated until I actually got to meet and talk to people here more.
What's a day in the life of a young Harvard student like?
It starts very early most often, I think. I mean, days at school probably look like anywhere in the world. We start early in the day. Many of us do sports in the morning or in the evening. And we go to our classes, we go to our study groups, we go to review sessions, meet with friends, have lunch together, and work on our projects, work on our assignments. And then often use the afternoon or evening to attend a talk or another event at the university where we have welcome guest speakers, or we work on different projects we conduct in our free time, whether it's student conference, whether it's other initiatives, or whether it's sports. And so I guess that's, however, what a day at most universities probably looks like.
You asked a question earlier about what do you think of with China, and I forgot to say this. I think of the 2008 Beijing Olympics actually quite often. And it was we actually drove by the bird's nest today, and I was just in awe of that entire space. One of my core actually childhood memories, I was quite a bit younger back then, was watching that opening ceremony, and then watching that was actually honestly my first real exposure to Chinese culture was the 2008 Olympics.
How did that feel being on the Great Wall?
Oh, it was amazing. I could have been there we were there for maybe a couple hours. I probably could have done a couple more.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It was magnificent, and we were very fortunate to see the sunset from there. So that was a splendid experience.
Hard to fathom, actually. I couldn't. I had to keep on doing double takes, looking at it. I couldn't believe it was real. Like it was just. It was. I kept touching it. I'm like, are you?
Did you see? It was so funny. The last time I was in the Great Wall, I was climbing, and I was like, oh, I'm tired already, and I saw a bunch of older people actually running up. And then that made me really into perspective, like I need to get working on my athletic skills.
Of course, it makes you humble quite fast, I think, being on the wall.
There's no better place to do it than the Great Wall, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, that's so awesome. So before you guys came here, what's the Mandarin situation like in your university? Are there a lot of students who can speak Mandarin?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few students who can speak Mandarin. We have quite a few students that either studied undergrad in the U.S. And then decided to go to the Kennedy School for their masters, or are doing the Kennedy School as their master's program in the U.S. post studying in China. And so quite a large group of students who can speak Mandarin.
Unfortunately, my own Mandarin skills are still underdeveloped, but I hope it will improve over this week.
Do you speak Mandarin?
No, very few words.
But enough words to get you by to two cities before you came to Beijing.
I'm still trying.
Do you guys feel like listening to people around you on this trip, do you think it's a hard language, Mandarin?
My impression is that it's a very tough language. The reason why, we had a wonderful tour guide yesterday, and she went through this exercise talking through the 5 tones with us, and I'm like, oh, this is far more complex than English is. It's amazing what you can accomplish with just tonal variation, but I think it would be quite difficult to learn.
At the same time, I feel it's super interesting to learn about their characters and how they are composed, and how their composition actually tells a lot about the meaning of the word as well, and its etymology. So that has been also another very interesting part of experiencing Chinese culture and language.
Are there any other aspects of Chinese culture that made you really interested in, personally?
What I've been interested in personally is Chinese history, and I think we often forget how long Chinese history is when we're looking at 5,000 years. And it's super interesting for me to learn more about ancient China and how it developed, and I think that is an aspect I would really like to learn more on.
Same. I've been trying to do I'm just trying to get a sense and appreciation by getting some historical context and doing some reading, and there's just so much to learn.
Yeah.
Standing in the Forbidden City yesterday, I just remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like this is hundreds and hundreds of years of deep history, and I'd love to dive in.
Definitely, and you can really see it right now in movies and TV shows. They really make a lot of historical movies and TV shows, so I think that is also one way to get to know a culture, through watching movies. I mean, we grew up in different parts of the world watching American movies,
Sure.
and that's how we understand the culture in the US. Preferably, lots of Hollywood movies really made an impact on us, thinking, oh, that's how the US is. Have you guys ever watched any Chinese movies?
I have not actually seen a Chinese movie yet. Is there one that you would, or are there ones that you think we should watch?
So many. I think one last year came out, a TV show called Fanhua, and it really talked about like a certain period of time in Shanghai. But it really covered a lot of different aspects of society back in the day. So I think that show really made an impact on people. So I would highly suggest it. Not only did they speak like a Mandarin version of it, there's also the Shanghainese dialect of it,
Cool.
which is I think very surprising to some people. They think it's just, for example, Mandarin, Cantonese, but actually
Sure.
many different places have their own dialect and stuff. So I
Yeah.
think that would be. I mean, you spend a long time learning Mandarin. Next thing you know, there's a whole other dialect that you need to learn.
Oh, that sounds like a great recommendation. Thank you very much.
I also love getting to know a culture through music. Like, is there like a Chinese pop artist that we should be listening to right now?
To our lovely viewers, please leave a comment of your favorite Chinese song so Deepak can check it
Please,
later.
I'll add it to my Spotify. I can't wait to change my algorithm.
Yeah,
It'd be great.
Yeah, we're very grateful for any recommendation, whether it's movies, TV shows, music.
In the comments, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today, and it was a lovely chat. I really look forward to meeting you again, preferably after your trip, because I want to hear all about it. Good luck on your trip and have a safe journey, and please do stay in touch and let us know how the experience was in Hangzhou and in Shanghai.
Thank you.
Thank you so
This
much.
was so lovely to be here.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. What a lovely conversation we had with two new friends that really shared a lot with us about being friends with people from all over the world, how much you can learn from the youth from all over the world, and just how much friendship and similarities you can find when you meet new people and you open up your heart to them. This has been the Power of Youth Plus, and see you on our next episode.